Book title: Shadows of Fear. The Secrets That Hide Success from You. Written by Vahid Zekavati. Copyright 2024 NLP Radio. Introduction. Have you ever thought about why some people are always making progress while you remain stuck in the same place? What is it that has built this invisible wall between you and success? Why, despite having big dreams and goals, do you still not take steps toward achieving them? Have you ever felt that your dreams are becoming more and more distant? The cause of this failure is a hidden fear within you that unconsciously dominates your mind and soul. A fear that follows you like a silent but constant shadow, preventing you from moving toward a brighter future. This fear is an invisible chain that has shackled your feet and kept you in a safe zone that may seem harmless, but is truly an obstacle to achieving everything you desire. You want to change, you want to step toward your dreams, but do you really know what is holding you back? Why, every time you try to move forward, does it seem that an unseen force pulls you back? Have you ever pondered what great debts this fear has imposed on your life? This book takes you on a journey that begins within yourself, where your fears are hidden. You will get to know these fears, recognize them, and gradually learn how to break free from these chains. Each chapter is a key to unlocking the locks that have been placed on the gates of your success. This journey will not be easy, but the reward waiting for you at the end is beyond anything you have ever experienced. Now is the time to open your eyes and bravely confront your fears. You are now ready to step into a new world, a world where fears do not limit you or prevent your progress. The secrets of this journey are hidden in this book, and if you are brave enough, you will discover all of them. Chapter 1. Fear, the Invisible Prison. Have you ever felt that an invisible force is holding you back from moving toward your dreams? What makes you remain in your previous position even when you have big goals? Why do many people, despite having the ability, continue to seek endless security and fear taking risks? Fear, this invisible yet powerful force, creeps into many lives. This feeling begins in childhood with negative experiences and takes root with every failure and setback. Gradually, fear teaches our minds to be afraid of any new and unknown situation, leading us to remain confined within our limitations instead of stepping into a new world. Imagine living in a vast plain surrounded by invisible walls. You cannot see these walls, but you unconsciously feel that crossing them is dangerous. These walls symbolize the fears that increasingly keep you in one place. While new opportunities await you just beyond these walls, you remain in search of security, afraid to step into the unknown. Individuals who have confined their lives within a safe zone due to fear gradually lose their ability to face challenges and problems. Each time they encounter a new situation, their minds focus not on possibilities and opportunities, but solely on potential risks and failures. In such cases, a person decides it is better to remain in that familiar and safe situation, even if it does not lead them toward their goals. Fear of failure, fear of criticism, and fear of the unknown are three main forces that often stop individuals in life. These fears not only rob us of new opportunities, but over time they distance us from the power and confidence we need for success. We see ourselves in a prison whose walls are made of negative thoughts and mental limitations. This invisible prison seemingly protects us, but in reality, it keeps us away from any progress. Fear, like a shadow that is always with us, prevents us from fully enjoying life and achieving our goals and dreams. Each day we surrender to these fears, we move one step further away from the path of success. This is a cycle that many unsuccessful individuals find themselves trapped in. Instead of moving toward their dreams, they choose to remain in their previous situation due to the fear of failure and criticism from others. But is this decision really the best choice? Each time we avoid new experiences, we lose something. Opportunities that could change our lives, challenges that could make us stronger, and lessons that could help us become a better version of ourselves. Ultimately, what holds us back from success is not external conditions, but this invisible prison that fear has constructed in our minds. If we do not break free from it, we will always remain in the same spot, without any progress and without any new experiences. This chapter of the book will help you recognize these invisible walls and understand how you can pass through them. The first step to freeing yourself from fear is to allow yourself to make mistakes, take risks, and step out of your comfort zone. Fear is not an enemy, but a mental barrier that you can bravely overcome to move toward success. Chapter 2. The Comfort Zone, the Trap of Progress. The comfort zone is where we feel calm and secure. Everything is predictable. There are no surprises or changes, and the risk of failure is minimized. At first glance, this zone may seem like a shelter from the dangers of life. However, the reality is that this zone is more like a cage that deprives us of growth and new experiences. The comfort zone is like a point in life that a person becomes accustomed to, and as time goes on, they sink deeper into it. This zone can be a stable job, familiar relationships, or even daily habits that never change. For many individuals, remaining in this state is due to a fear of the unknown or fear of failure. They prefer to stay in familiar and repetitive situations rather than face new challenges. This state not only hinders their progress but also leads to mental and emotional burnout. Imagine your life as a long and winding path. Along this path, you can reach new peaks, but to get there, you must overcome various obstacles. Your comfort zone is like a resting point along this journey, a place where you can stay for a while, rest, and rejuvenate. But if you linger too long at this point, you will never reach the next peaks or discover new horizons. One of the biggest reasons people remain in their comfort zones is the sense of security and certainty that this zone provides. However, this security is merely an illusion. In reality, when we stay within our comfort zones, we miss out on numerous opportunities and gradually drift away from the flow of life and progress. Most people who are stuck in their comfort zones are not even aware of how this zone limits them. These individuals may appear happy and content, but deep down, they feel a hidden dissatisfaction. They know they are not in their true place, and this feeling causes them to gradually grow weary of their lives. Stepping out of the comfort zone is the first step toward progress. However, this step is not always simple. Our minds naturally tend to seek security and calmness, perceiving any change as a threat. This is where fear comes into play, holding us back from moving forward. But we must understand that fear and security exist only in our minds, while reality is something different. Experience has shown that when individuals step out of their comfort zones and face new challenges, they not only progress but also gain more confidence. These challenges are like weights that strengthen our mental and spiritual muscles. With every challenge we overcome, we become stronger and more prepared to face larger challenges. So, are you ready to leave your comfort zone? Can you imagine what your life would be like if, instead of remaining in safety, you took steps toward the unknown? It may seem difficult at first, but remember that no progress comes without risk and challenge. You must trust yourself and know that you have the ability to face any challenge. In this chapter, we learn how the comfort zone can be a trap for our progress and prevent us from achieving our desires. Now that we know this truth, it is time to courageously move toward a new life full of possibilities. Fear is merely a mental wall, and stepping out of the comfort zone is the first step toward freedom and success. Chapter 3. Hidden Setbacks. Fear, like a silent shadow, settles in the hidden corners of our minds and, without us even realizing it, influences our decisions and actions. These fears manifest over time as hidden setbacks in our lives. Setbacks that not only hinder our progress but also gradually place us in situations that have never been satisfying for us. One of the most significant effects of fear is the loss of job opportunities. Imagine being in a job position that you are not satisfied with, but the fear of change or failure prevents you from seeking better opportunities. Over time, this fear keeps you stuck in the same position and inhibits your growth and progress. Many people find themselves in this situation, They fear change, and this fear keeps them in unproductive environments without growth potential. These individuals may continue in this manner for years and, when looking back, regret the opportunities lost due to fear. In addition to job opportunities, fear can also impact our personal relationships. Many human relationships, especially romantic ones, end in failure due to fear of intimacy, commitment, or even fear of vulnerability. Individuals who fear intimacy may avoid forming deep and meaningful connections and instead settle for superficial and ineffective relationships. These people dread getting close to others because they fear the possibility of failure or getting hurt. These fears not only prevent them from enjoying human relationships, but also lead to feelings of loneliness and dissatisfaction in their personal lives. Moreover, financial fears are other factors that prevent many individuals from achieving their financial and welfare goals. Many people fear financial risks, investing, or even leaving stable jobs to start their own businesses. This fear of change and temporary loss of financial security causes them to turn their backs on new opportunities and ultimately settle for positions below their potential. Over time, these individuals may fall into the trap of financial debt and be unable to manage their income and expenses. The fear of making sound financial decisions can even lead to larger financial crises that keep individuals entangled for a long time. But that's not all. Fear not only impacts our financial and professional aspects but also inflicts serious harm on our physical and mental health. Individuals who fear change or new experiences gradually find themselves in more stressful and psychologically taxing situations. Long-term stress is a leading cause of many physical and mental health issues, including heart problems, high blood pressure, depression, and anxiety. These individuals may resort to unhealthy habits such as overeating, alcohol consumption, or drug use to temporarily escape from their negative feelings due to their inability to cope with their fears. For example, consider a person who, in their youth, was offered an excellent job opportunity but rejected it due to fear of change. Years later, they realized that this decision completely altered the course of their life and prevented them from achieving their dreams. This person may never have reached a desirable position in their life and always be plagued by feelings of regret and despair. These examples are just a glimpse of the negative effects of fear in people's lives. The conclusion we draw from this chapter is that fears, whether evident or hidden, play a significant role in creating personal, financial, professional, and even physical setbacks. Many of these setbacks may not be apparent to us at first, but over time they have a more profound impact on our lives. Now that we recognize these effects, it is time to confront our fears and not allow them to continue keeping us on the path of setbacks. Are you ready to eliminate your setbacks and guide your life toward progress and success? Chapter 4. Financial debt and fear of failure. We all experience moments in life when great opportunities present themselves, yet something within us holds us back from stepping into that path. This thing is often the fear that insidiously shadows our decisions. Perhaps an opportunity has arisen to start a new business, or a chance to invest in a project has come up, but due to the worry of failure, we have missed those opportunities. Have you ever wondered why many individuals, despite having the necessary skills and competencies, settle for low and fixed incomes? The fear of failure can gradually take root in our lives without us even realizing it, preventing us from striving for improvement. This fear acts like an invisible barrier, hindering us from taking the risks essential for success. Many people prefer to remain in their familiar and safe financial situations due to this fear. They might avoid investing in large, risky projects and settle for the income that is deposited into their accounts every month. But is this satisfaction real? Fixed and limited incomes may seem to provide a sense of security and peace, but they can actually pose a serious obstacle to progress and the achievement of larger dreams. When a person avoids financial risks, they not only overlook significant and profitable opportunities but may gradually become trapped in financial debts. Debts that over time act like weights strapped to their feet, preventing them from moving forward. Imagine someone who has a stable job and is satisfied with the limited income they earn. Due to the fear of failure, they have never thought of investing in new opportunities or starting a personal business. As time passes, living expenses rise, but their fixed income remains unchanged. Might there come a day when this individual, instead of dreaming of greater aspirations, finds themselves entangled in repaying debts imposed by the increasing cost of living? Individuals who fear failure often unconsciously make decisions that keep them away from significant successes. This fear causes them to remain in their current situation instead of striving for financial growth and advancement. Although this state may seem safe and secure, in reality, it is the greatest enemy of success. The fear of failure gradually steers individuals away from accumulating wealth and towards financial problems and greater debts. For example, a person who always fears entering high-risk financial situations may face unexpected problems that their fixed income cannot cover. They are forced to turn to loans or debts, which leads to a gradual accumulation of financial liabilities. Debts that may ultimately prevent them from reaching their significant financial goals. Have you ever wondered why some individuals, despite their extensive efforts, continue to struggle with financial problems and mounting debts? Could the root of these issues lie in the fear of facing failure and the inability to accept financial risks? These questions, while they may seem simple, have complex answers. The fear of failure not only prevents individuals from striving for financial success but can over time lead them into a quagmire of financial troubles. So, isn't it time to set this fear aside and seek opportunities that could transform your financial future? Is this fear really worth keeping you from achieving your dreams? Ultimately, the answer to these questions boils down to one thing: if not properly managed, the fear of failure can become your greatest enemy in achieving financial success. Chapter 5. Relationships. Fear and its impact on love and friendship. Human social life has always depended on interaction with others, but why do some individuals struggle to establish deep and lasting connections? Can the fear of rejection and lack of acceptance from others hinder the creation of emotional and friendly relationships? Perhaps you have experienced moments when, out of fear of failing in a relationship, you kept yourself distant from others. How have these fears taken root in our hearts and minds? And why do many of us distance ourselves instead of striving to create intimate connections? The fear of rejection is one of the most powerful emotions that prevents people from establishing and maintaining emotional relationships. This fear often stems from past experiences. Perhaps in childhood, we face rejection or a lack of acceptance, and this unpleasant feeling has been etched in our minds. Over time, every time we encounter the possibility of being rejected by others, this fear is revived and prevents us from expressing our feelings or getting close to others. Is it possible that many relationships that never materialized were due to this profound fear of rejection? Additionally, the fear of intimacy is another significant barrier in relationships. Many individuals, even without realizing it, fear entering into intimate and deep relationships. This fear may stem from a fear of vulnerability or losing control. Intimacy means opening one's heart and soul to another, and for many people, this opening can evoke a sense of vulnerability. When we fear intimacy, we subconsciously distance ourselves from others and miss out on relationships that may have the potential for growth and flourishing. Love, friendship, and every type of human relationship require courage. The courage to open one's heart, to show one's true self, and to accept the potential risks that come with it. When we distance ourselves from human relationships due to fear of vulnerability or rejection, we actually miss out on greater opportunities. You might ask yourself why your past relationships have failed or why you still haven't been able to establish a lasting and deep relationship. Could the root of these failures lie in hidden fears that manifest in our daily behaviors? The fear of communication is also one of the significant obstacles that prevent individuals from experiencing successful relationships. Many people, especially in modern societies, are afraid to start a conversation or approach new individuals. Perhaps the fear of rejection or lack of approval from others leads them to retreat into isolation rather than strive for connection. This fear has become more pronounced in today's world, where online and virtual communications have replaced face-to-face interactions. But do these fears warrant keeping us from experiencing love, friendship, and deep relationships? Is it possible that many of us, due to these hidden fears, are deprived of the joys that lie within human connections? Undoubtedly, human relationships require taking risks. We must have the courage. Ultimately, if we wish to have successful and meaningful relationships, we must confront our fears and overcome them. The fear of rejection, the fear of intimacy, and the fear of communication are all enemies of healthy and stable relationships. Although these fears may seem reasonable and logical, they are in fact invisible barriers that prevent us from achieving depth and true meaning in human relationships. So, isn't it time to set these fears aside and step forward with courage towards others? The answer to this question lies in our daily decisions. Are we ready to take risks and draw closer to others? Only then can we enjoy meaningful and passionate relationships. Chapter 6. The Power of Action. The Key to Overcoming Fear. Have you ever experienced a moment when the fear of doing something important paralyzed you? Many of us face a wall of doubt and fear when we need to make crucial decisions. These fears may seem so large and complex that just thinking about them can prevent us from taking action. But did you know that one of the best ways to cope with these fears is to take action? You might be wondering why some people continue to move towards success despite their fears and doubts, while others remain stuck in the same place. Taking action is like turning on a light in the dark. It may initially seem like just a small glimmer, but that light can illuminate the path and compel us to move forward. When we confront our fears, the smallest step we take can diminish the fear. Small and consistent actions, like drops of water that erode stone, gradually eliminate the effects of fear. But why do so many people still hesitate to take the first step, even though they know they should act? One of the main reasons is that our minds naturally seek safety and stability. Any change that challenges this security can be perceived as a threat, causing us to procrastinate. This procrastination makes fear appear larger and more complex in our minds, and the longer we wait, the greater our feelings of helplessness become. However, those who have experienced great success are often the ones who started with these small actions. No success comes overnight, and no change occurs without consistent steps. There are many examples of successful individuals who, despite their fears, decided to take a small step towards their goals instead of waiting. They understood that each small step empowered them more and gave them the confidence to take the next steps. Fear of failure, fear of criticism, or even fear of success can all deter us from taking action. But do these fears really warrant keeping us from achieving our goals and dreams? If we look at the lives of successful individuals, we will find that they too struggled with these fears. The difference between them and others is that they chose to act despite these fears and move towards their goals instead of waiting. A notable example in this regard is the life story of Thomas Edison. He attempted to invent the light bulb over 1,000 times and faced failure each time. But did he fear these failures? Certainly. However, instead of succumbing to his fears, Edison decided to view these failures not as endings but as steps towards success. Each time he took action, his fears diminished, and ultimately, he achieved great success. Moreover, those who have started successful businesses have consistently followed these principles. Many of them face fears of bankruptcy, loss of investment, or failure in the market. But the difference was that, instead of focusing on their fears, they moved towards small and consistent actions. Every day, they took a step forward. These steps not only brought them closer to success but also gave them more strength and confidence to tackle larger challenges. Therefore, if you are also facing fears that hinder your movement towards success, remember that taking action is the key to overcoming these fears. Even the smallest action can have a profound impact. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment or a time without fear, take a small step towards your goals right now. These steps, although they may seem insignificant at first, will ultimately lead you to your destination. In conclusion, the power of action is the primary tool for overcoming fear and moving towards success. Although fear may always accompany us, consistent and small actions can diminish it and ultimately guide us towards our goals. Chapter 7. Failure. The bridge to victory. Have you ever asked yourself why many people struggle with the fear of failure and, as a result, never achieve their dreams? Or perhaps you have faced the question in moments of your life, can failure destroy all your efforts? This thought that failure is the end of the road acts as a major barrier to progress for many individuals. But does failure truly possess such power, or can it serve as a bridge leading us to greater victories? To many, failure appears negative and painful, like a sudden storm that destroys everything. However, if we look more closely at the experiences of successful individuals, we see that failures have actually been pivotal moments that change the course of their lives. Failure is not an end. It can be an opportunity for individuals to learn valuable lessons and move towards greater successes. Many successful individuals have stories of significant failures in their lives. While these failures may seem very discouraging at first glance, the important point is that they never allowed failure to stop them. In fact, each failure showed them where they needed to change, which skills they needed to improve, and how to move towards bigger goals. Did you know that Henry Ford, the founder of Ford Motor Company, lost 2 other companies due to poor management before launching his successful company? These failures not only discouraged him but made him more determined to learn from these experiences and return to the path of success. One of the biggest reasons people fear failure is the fear of judgment from others. You may have thought about what others will say if you fail. Will they ridicule you or tell you to give up on your dreams? But if you look at the lives of those who have achieved great successes, you will see that they set aside this fear and, instead of listening to others' judgments, focused on their goals. For many of these individuals, failure has not been an end but a beginning. Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb, attempted to invent the bulb over 1,000 times and failed each time. However, he never viewed these failures as the end of the road. Instead of becoming discouraged, he used each failure as an opportunity to learn. Ultimately, with the experiences he gained from these failures, he succeeded in inventing the light bulb, and his name is forever recorded in history as one of the greatest inventors. Such stories demonstrate that failure is not only not a barrier to success, but it can also lay the foundation for greater achievements. But how can we use our failures as a bridge to victory? One of the key points is to view failures as opportunities for growth and learning. Each failure may contain a lesson, and if we can identify it, we can perform better in our next attempts. Have you experienced failures in your life? Instead of becoming discouraged, ask yourself what you can learn from this experience. What changes can you make in your methods and attitudes to be more successful in your future efforts? Throughout history, many successful individuals, such as Walt Disney, Oprah Winfrey, and J.K. Rowling, have faced significant failures. But what distinguishes them from others is that they did not allow failures to change their path. They continued to move forward, learn from their experiences, and ultimately achieved great success. Another important point about failure is that no one can achieve true success without experiencing failure. If we always avoid failure and never take risks, we will never understand what we are capable of. The fear of failure resides in our minds simply because we view it as something negative and harmful. However, if we can change our perspective and see failure as part of the growth and progress path, we can use every failure as a springboard to achieve success. In conclusion, we must recognize that failure is like a bridge that elevates us from one stage to a higher one. If we do not cross this bridge, we will never reach victory. Therefore, instead of fearing failure and giving up, we should see it as an opportunity for learning and growth. Only by crossing this bridge can we reach the peaks of success. As a result, failure is not a barrier to success. It can be a bridge that guides us toward greater victories. Every failure is an opportunity for learning and growth, and by changing our attitude towards it, we can achieve greater successes. Chapter 8. Intrinsic motivation. the fuel for success. Have you ever experienced moments when it feels like the whole world is standing against you and there's no way to move forward? Perhaps in those moments you've asked yourself, "Why can't I move? Why does something always stand in the way of my goals?" These questions are familiar to many of us. However, the answer we often overlook is that everything begins within us, from a hidden force we call intrinsic motivation. Have you ever wondered how some people remain energetic and hardworking despite all the obstacles? Intrinsic motivation is a force that, unlike any external force, is enduring and stable. This motivation stems from the depths of our being and is rooted in our beliefs, goals, and personal desires. When we discover this motivation and use it as fuel for moving toward success, we can remove any obstacles in our path. One of the main challenges, however, is maintaining and strengthening this motivation. You may have felt that at the beginning of your journey, you had abundant motivation, but over time, this energy diminishes, and fears and doubts gradually take its place. How can we ensure that this intrinsic motivation remains high? Can we continue moving toward our goals despite fears and doubts? One of the key techniques for enhancing intrinsic motivation is focusing on the whys. Whenever you feel your fears are taking over, ask yourself, "Why is this goal important to me?" This simple yet powerful question can awaken an inner force that can eliminate any fear or doubt. This intrinsic motivation can help you not only to keep moving forward but also to enjoy every step you take toward your goals. Another strategy for strengthening intrinsic motivation is to create small, achievable goals. Many people avoid setting large goals out of fear of failure, but the truth is that setting small, consistent goals boosts confidence and strengthens intrinsic motivation. Every time you achieve one of these small goals, the feeling of success provides you with renewed motivation to pursue larger objectives. This approach helps you gradually overcome your fears and doubts and get closer to success. A prominent example of the importance of intrinsic motivation in success is the life story of Nelson Mandela. He spent years in prison, yet never allowed external conditions to extinguish his intrinsic motivation. By focusing on his beliefs and the goal of liberating his people, Mandela was able to continue moving toward his larger objective despite fears and external pressures. His intrinsic motivation not only helped him overcome challenges but also turned him into one of the most inspiring leaders in history. Meditation and self-awareness are also important tools for enhancing intrinsic motivation. When you can take a moment to connect with yourself during difficult times and achieve inner peace, a deeper and stronger motivation forms within you. This calmness helps you focus not on fears and obstacles but on your goals and aspirations. Thus, in challenging situations, your mind moves toward hope and action instead of despair and fear. Intrinsic motivation also helps us face our fears instead of running away from them. When you can approach your fears instead of fleeing, accepting them as part of the growth journey, you will see their power diminish. This acceptance of fear not only frees you from it but also strengthens your intrinsic motivation and propels you forward. Ultimately, intrinsic motivation is the force that guides us towards success, even when external conditions are against us. This motivation arises not from outside but from within, and it must be strengthened by focusing on goals, self-care, and embracing fears. Only with this approach can we overcome any fear and achieve great success. Thus, intrinsic motivation is the force that helps us transcend fear and guides us towards success. By learning techniques to strengthen this motivation and embracing our fears, we can achieve our goals and continue on the path of success. Chapter 9. Visualizing Success. The powerful tool of the mind. Have you ever wondered what makes some individuals move confidently toward their goals despite facing significant challenges? Perhaps these individuals know something you have yet to discover. Their secret lies in harnessing the power of mental imagery. Did you know that your mind cannot differentiate between a real experience and a visualized one? This scientific truth demonstrates that if we can see success in our minds, we can also manifest it in real life. Mental visualization is one of the most effective tools for overcoming fear and boosting self-confidence. When we vividly imagine our successes in our minds, our mind gradually believes that these successes are achievable. This internal belief helps us move toward our goals with greater confidence and diminishes our fears. But how can we correctly utilize this powerful tool? The first step in visualizing success is clarity of purpose. You cannot effectively visualize something that isn't clear in your mind. Many people think of success as a vague concept, but visualizing success requires precisely defining your goals. For example, if your goal is to have a successful business, you need to specify its details. What type of business? In what field? Who will your customers be? What features must your business have for you to consider it successful? Once the goal is clearly defined, begin your visualization. Imagine a scene in your mind where you have achieved success. Draw every detail of this scene in your mind, from the environment you are in to the emotions you are experiencing. The more precise and vivid this visualization, the stronger its impact on your mind will be. Your mind will start to believe in this image, and this belief will provide you with more motivation and energy to pursue this success. However, this visualization is not just a one-time mental exercise. Continuous repetition of visualization is one of the keys to success in this process. By practicing this exercise daily, your mind gradually aligns toward this goal, and ultimately, this mental image transforms into reality. With this practice, you not only prepare your mind for success, but the fears and doubts that exist in your path gradually fade. The more you see success in your mind, the less you will fear failure. One success story that well illustrates the importance of mental visualization is that of Jim Carrey. In the early years of his career, when he had not yet achieved any success, he wrote a check for $10 million to himself and kept it in his wallet. Every day, he looked at this check and imagined himself receiving that amount of money. Eventually, this mental visualization became a reality, and he received exactly that amount for one of his films. This story effectively shows how impactful the power of visualization can be. Mental visualization can also help you confront and overcome your fears. Many people fear failure or mistakes, but when you repeatedly and accurately visualize success in your mind, these fears gradually disappear. This is because your mind becomes accustomed to focusing not on fears but on goals and successes. Another important technique in visualization is to focus on positive feelings and emotions. When you visualize success in your mind, pay attention to the feelings that accompany it. Cultivate feelings of joy, pride, satisfaction, and peace in your mind. These positive emotions help you not only see success but also attract it into your life. When these feelings are genuinely strengthened within you, fears can no longer have a place in your mind. Ultimately, visualizing success is not just a mental exercise, it is a tool that helps you align your mind and body to achieve your goals. When you repeatedly see success in your mind, your behaviors and decisions gradually steer toward this goal. Your mind no longer focuses on failure and obstacles. Instead, all its attention is directed toward the pathways to success. In conclusion, visualizing success is a powerful tool that can reduce fears and provide significant motivation for moving toward our goals. By employing visualization techniques and repeating them, we can prepare our minds for success and move toward a brighter future. Chapter 10. Dare to dive into life. Imagine for a moment that you are on the brink of a big decision, a choice that could change the course of your life. But in that moment, a familiar voice begins to speak in your mind. What if I fail? What if this path is not the right one? This voice of fear is doing everything in its power to hold you back. But do you know what sets successful people apart from others? They confront this voice, they hear it, but they don't allow fear to dictate their decisions. They dare to dive into life. Courage in the face of fear is the starting point of the journey towards success. Many people think that successful individuals are free of fear, but the truth is that they also experience fear. The difference lies in how they manage this feeling. Instead of running away from fear, they accept it as a natural part of the path to success and courageously move toward their goals. Fear is a part of life, but it should not control our lives. Many of us deprive ourselves of great opportunities because of fear of failure, fear of judgment from others, or even fear of the unknown. However, those who dare to dive into life know that every experience, even failure, is an opportunity for learning and growth. They believe that every step taken forward, even if faced with obstacles, brings them closer to their dreams. Courage and bravery are the driving forces that take us toward the life we have always desired. In this chapter, we learn that daring means accepting uncertainty and facing the unknown. Life is always full of changes and instability, but instead of fearing these changes, we should embrace them as part of the growth process. Those who dare and dive into these changes ultimately gain experiences and opportunities that others can hardly imagine. One prominent example of this courage in facing fear is the story of Thomas Edison. Edison faced numerous failures while inventing the electric light bulb, but he never gave up on his path. He said, "I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This positive outlook and the courage to continue, even in the face of repeated failures, made him one of the greatest inventors in history. This type of courage and trust in the process is one of the main factors behind Edison's success and that of many other successful individuals. Courage matters not only in the professional and economic realms but in all aspects of life. In emotional relationships, social interactions, and even in mental health, courage plays a key role. To trust others, we must be brave. To create positive changes in our lives, we must confront our fears and move toward the life we have always dreamed of. This courage in every step we take helps us overcome our mental limitations and achieve more than we ever imagined. True courage lies in accepting fears and moving toward them. When we dare to dive into life, we are actually developing our inner strength. Each time we face our fears, we gain more confidence, and ultimately, we accept fears as a natural part of life. This acceptance means that fears can no longer control our lives and keep us away from the path to success. Ultimately, courage allows us to create the life we have always wished for. When we look at life with confidence and courage, no obstacle can stop us. Fear will still exist as a natural feeling, but it will no longer hold power over us. We learn to move confidently toward our dreams, seeing every challenge as an opportunity for learning and growth. So, courage is the key to success. Fear will always be present in life, but daring to dive into life guides us toward our dreams and goals. By accepting fear and moving toward it, we can achieve the life we have always wanted, and ultimately see every failure and obstacle as a bridge to victory. Conclusion. This book is a journey toward discovering your inner forces to overcome fear. You are now familiar with the various layers of fear and its destructive effects on life. From the limitations that fear creates in various aspects of life, including careers, relationships, and finances, to the power that action and courage can bring you. Fear only has power when you allow it to. As long as you consider fear to reign over your thoughts and decisions, you will be trapped in your invisible prison. But now, you have the tools and awareness necessary. You have learned how to step out of your comfort zone, accept failure as part of the path to success, and keep your inner motivation alive. Every step you take brings you closer to your goals. You can challenge fear, not as an enemy, but as a teacher inviting you to greater strength and courage. The more you take action, the weaker those negative voices become, and your confidence grows. Now is the time to take the first step. No matter how difficult the path may seem, all you need to do is dare to dive into life and know that fear no longer governs you. Your future is in your hands.